Alright y'all, and welcome back to another video. Sorry for the delay of this video. I have been sick for about 2 weeks now. I'm still getting over it. My nose and my throat has been a little sore and stuffed, but I'm getting over it. I'm getting a little bit better, as you can tell in my voice. Last time I had recorded a video, my voice was actually starting to get rough, and luckily I uploaded that video before it got worse. But I'm here now looking back at Resident Evil Village from 2021. Let's just talk about this game. So if you guys didn't look at my history with Resident Evil video that I did after Resident Evil Requiem got announced, you wouldn't know, but I actually didn't like this game when I first played it. I was like, it's kind of an ass story. I didn't understand it. I didn't actually know Ethan was in this story. I was just kind of blind. So I didn't know Ethan had a big part in this story. This was his story. I didn't know this was closing his chapter in Resident Evil. But when I looked at videos and stuff and kind of understood, so I'm like, oh, so this is Ethan's story. This is him going up against someone that took his child, and you know, his story has ended now. And then not like a year ago, I had went back, played Village, and I started liking it. I started thinking Village was a really good game. The reason for that is because it just, when I first played it, I was still at a young age. It was actually the year after, I think, Village came out. I played it, and then I played it again. It was actually, no, back in 2024, I decided to play this again and get my actual thoughts on it through a actual, like, Resident Evil fan perspective, because I was already delved into the Resident Evil story for after, you know, Resident Evil 4 remake came out. I was like, okay, replayed 2 remake, replayed 4 remake, or replayed 3 remake for those achievements, and leading up to Resident Evil 4 remake. And then I went back to Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 7 after I played remake 4, and I'm like, you know, these games are not that bad. I always knew 7 was my favorite. 7 was my favorite because it was my first, and it actually had true horror instincts for me. It actually scared the crap out of me. But with Village, it's like, it's a mix of the action and the horror, like 4, and you could tell this is a 4 copy because, you know, the Village aspect, the castle, and, you know, the different, like, kind of villain styles you got, and, you know, the merchant, obviously, different weapons, and the attaché case, you know, it's very, very Resident Evil 4-esque, and I don't mind it. I think that's one of the perks to this game, because it's taking inspiration from the best Resident Evil, well, I would say one of the best, because it ain't my favorite, but it's everyone's got their own opinions. So, but with Resident Evil Village, with Resident Evil Village, this is the 8th mainline installment in the Resident Evil franchise, and Resident Evil 9 Requiem is taking place after it. It's taking place, so Requiem takes place in 2026. This game, Village, takes place in 2021. That will be 5 years after Village. So it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's been 5 years since Village came out, and we're going 5 years into the future with Requiem. But we're not following Rose Winters, we're not following Mia, we're not following Chris in that game. The last time we have interacted with those characters was Resident Evil Village, because that was kind of ending the Winter story, even though I think they can give Rose and Chris their own game, maybe Resident Evil 10. We'll see. But with Village, this is, I would say, within the art engine, probably my second least favorite. 3 remake is gonna have to go there because, you know, obvious reasons. But with Village, I would say it's really good. It is really good. I really love the game. The story's amazing. It can be a little cliche with the whole father-daughter rescue aspect, but it's unique with the Resident Evil games because you never had a story like that. And that's what makes Ethan's character so strong, is that he's going out of his way to save his daughter, even though by the end he knows he's dying. You find out that he is completely molded. He is no more flesh and blood because Jack killed him at the beginning of Resident Evil 7, and then he was resurrected through the mold, and throughout that journey and throughout this journey, he is just completely mold. Yes, you do see blood. Yes, you do see his heart being ripped out, but that's the mold copying his body and treating it like it's real. When literally you see him reattach his hand through the freaking healing stuff. That's not normal. But, like, he's going out of his way. He sacrificed himself just to save Rose. And that is true father love, in my opinion. Going out of your way just to save your kid, knowing you are about to die and you do not care at all. The one thing I will say is a drawback from the story in this game is Mia, because I did like the beginning where Miranda was copying her and we were like, Chris just killed Mia, what the fuck, is Chris the villain? Because you have Chris on the cover and he's like half werewolf, but that doesn't mean he turns into a werewolf in the game. It's just his plot in the story is such a mystery to where you're thinking he is a villain in this game because he killed Mia. But then you learn later on why he is actually in the game and why he's actually there. And why he killed Mia. And then this one part, the Umbrella story in this, I think is actually good. I know a lot of people say it's just a big throw in there just to connect the story for this game. I see that. I really do. They have to connect Umbrellas somehow to these games just to make them make sense, in my opinion. So having the Umbrella logo originate in the village and having Spencer come up with the idea for Umbrella through Miranda and the mold is just crazy. So without this whole place, without the village, with the mold and stuff, without any of that, we would not have Spencer. We would not have Wesker. We wouldn't have Umbrella. We wouldn't have the T virus and all that. But yes, I mean, you could say, well, they could have done something different. They could have made it make sense in a better way. Yes, they could have, but this was their safe option, and I applaud them for that. They went for the safe option and be like, hey, we're having it as this woman has lived for hundreds of years. Why not put Spencer in this story, being like, hey, he met Miranda so long ago to where he got the idea for Umbrella through that Umbrella logo and the mold came from the progenitor virus came from the mold, which makes sense, I guess. But yeah, no, the Umbrella story doesn't bother me in this game. It actually got me more, when I was replaying this, I was like, oh, the Umbrella story in this is actually pretty good, because we're going back to Umbrella's story for Resident Evil 9, but getting more into it for the end of the Umbrella story, because we're going to start a whole new story after 9. From what seems like we're going to go to Raccoon City, we're going to end the Umbrella story and some sort of Umbrella curse that is happening, which is interesting. But this Resident Evil Village is not a bad game. Is it a great game? No, it's a good game, not a great game. Miranda as a villain, she is actually pretty good. I do like her. Her design throughout the whole boss fight is really good. And now this part they did take from Resident Evil 4, because it actually kind of had to, just to answer this question, like, of how the outbreak started in the village. In the credits of Resident Evil 4, you see how the village starts to be infected with the plagas, and that's actually really cool, because we're like, oh, what if there were like children and stuff within the village? Like, where are they at, and how did this outbreak start? You learn that through the credits. Watch the entire credits, look at the pictures, and build that story, and you'll be like, oh, so that's where all the children are, that's how the plagas start, and that's where this leads to for the game. You go to village, you look at the credits, and I actually had to for the look back for this video, but and it was my first time looking at it. I was like, oh, so you're seeing the village, just like you're seeing how it happened. Literally, there was a disease that was going around. It was the Spanish flu, I believe. That's what was happening. No, it wasn't Spanish flu, because the virus took place very recently. But no, people started to get sick, and Miranda had already found the mold, and children were dying too. Like there are no children because they're all dying from the sickness, and they have Miranda had found the Kado, or however you pronounce it, and she was tricking her. Well, I don't know if she was tricking, because I don't know if she really knew. But she was basically saying, "Oh, hey, I found this medicine in the caves that can potentially help us." So she started taking samples from it and putting it in putting it in the villagers, so that they could be better. But in reality, they all turned into lichens. You see at the very end where a lichen is eating someone, and a little girl finds them, and all the children actually die from the lichens. The lichens eat them all and kill them all, and the population of lichens just keeps growing. You got Heisenberg in there, you got Donna, you got Lady D, and you got Moreau going through there too. They are the biggest experiments because, Evie, you learn that if you read the big books in the Spencer room. That's what I call it, the Spencer room. But but Resident Evil Village is not a bad game. It is a good game with a great story to end Ethan's story, and potentially it ended the Winter Saga of itself because of the Shadows of Rose DLC, which I thought was a good addition to the game. And just, building that. But that was the look back for Resident Evil Village. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and bye.